Hello, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for tuning in for another episode on the Heart of Oneness Network channel. My name is Kay Nay, co-founder of the Heart of Oneness Holistic Expo, and I am joined with fellow co-host and founder, Matt Riley. The purpose and intention of this channel is to connect hearts far and wide while offering up a container of spiritual enlightenment that supports you on your path of self-discovery and awareness. Our wish is that you leave here today feeling expansive and filled with inspiration. In today's conversation, we welcome our next guest, Valerie Lemme, to the show. Today, Valerie will be sharing with you a whole life success system called FutureVisioning that helps you apply and explore the power of the future, create the relationships you always dreamt were possible, while helping you heal your emotional and physical pain. Her extraordinary story and journey is a true testament to believing in the limitless power of abundance and a prosperous future. Future Visioning is a powerful, practical, and new metaphysical program that you will not find in any other system. Valerie, we welcome you and we thank you for joining us today and for bringing this fascinating topic to our viewers.
Thank you so much. The two of you are near and dear to my heart, and I am so admiring of what you're doing, and it's necessary in the world right now that people have a point of hope. And wow, I can I have you introduce me all the time? You did such a
We are just, Matt and I are both just so excited to have you here today.
Yeah.
I know we had an extraordinary privilege of meeting you many years ago at one of the very first shows that we ever participated in. And babe, I think it was here in New Jersey, right? I don't think it was in...
And Edison, it was in Edison. At the Expo Center. Yeah.
And I believe our booths, if we weren't next to each other, we were very, very close. We were in the same area. And it just opens up a beautiful doorway. And then I think we even shared another show together, either the next year or later on that year. And it was just like, oh my God, like just such a welcoming to see you again and feeling that heart resonance, you know, and that recognition of one soul to another. And so here we are all these years later and seeing you where you are in your work now and like just where we are as well in our lives. It's just a beautiful synergy and connection. So we are really, really excited to dive into this with you today.
Well, thank you. Me too, because this is my passion. And Lazarus, who is a channeled being that Future Visioning, a lot of the work is integrated and extrapolated from his teachings, actually says nothing happens in the world without passion. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, isn't that a cool?
And I love Lazarus. Like I have some of his tapes that someone gifted me. I absolutely love Lazarus.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yes. And so I am fortunate that I have found what is really my deepest calling and passion, which is to tell the world about future visioning in a way that's appropriate for them, right? So when you think about it, the power, I mean, if I can just talk a little bit about what you said about the power of the future, just for a minute, it is extraordinary. And most people don't understand how the future is creating the present, because most of us have really been taught that our past leads up to the now, but it doesn't. It's actually the future that's creating the present and has been here on Earth for many, many decades. So when you start to open up and be in relationship with your powerful, awesome, where all your dreams come true future self, and allow her, him to start to have a relationship with you, guide you, oh my God, miracles and magic start to happen on a regular basis. So it's exciting to connect people to their ultimate, the best mentor in the world, which is them in their bright future. So it also really fosters, like you said, self-healing, self-love. These are all, then once you get that, the other part is you start to have the love of the divine, what I call, and Lazarus calls, God, Goddess, all that is. And you start to integrate that into your daily life and how you're living your life. It's amazing and heart opening and warming. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
So can you tell us how future visioning has helped you personally? Because I think
oh
that's a
God,
great story.
yes. Well, first of all, it was really about 10 and a half years ago. And what I love about the fact that I'm still doing this is every other modality that I dove into started to fall apart around the 4 or 5 year, kind of duration into it. I started to see the problems. Like I was in this one modality where I started to look around going, why are all these healing practitioners getting sick? What is this all about? Like this
Wow.
is, really, so that doesn't happen here. This actually creates, but what happened to me is I was one of those practitioners at the time, 10 and a half years ago, and I ended up in the emergency room with back pain off the charts. When they asked me, where's your pain? When you come in, they go, where's your pain from 1 to 10? I go, do you have a 15? Because this is 15. And I hadn't done any kind of allopathic drugs or anything for like years and years and years. I started homeopathy when I was 18. And, so I was just on that path. And there I am in the emergency room saying, give me anything you got. I don't even care anymore. So the part of this story that is the saddest wasn't even just the physical pain that I was in and not understanding how was I here? How did I end up here? Because I used to meditate 2 hours a day. I followed a spiritual master. I went all over the world into these symposiums and seminars. So how did I, who put thousands and thousands of dollars into my growth, end up in the emergency room in complete pain? But the emotional pain was worse. The shame I had from being a healer, quote unquote, and ending up in the emergency room was beyond description. Maybe I said, yeah, it was a 15 physically, but on the emotional level, I couldn't quantify it. It was so huge. So, and at the end, and this is the part that I really want people to understand, I thought there was something wrong with me. And that's the conclusion that I see people make. So my marriage was on the rocks at that time. And there I was in the hospital. Everything seemed to be falling apart, to tell you the truth. So I just didn't know what to do. And I continued to try to heal my pain for another year or so with all, what I had at the time. And it wasn't working. And then I heard Ty on a teleseminar. And everything he said was resonating. So you have to understand there's most probably going to be people who are watching this who are going to be younger than the total of years I looked for a solution. And that was 39 years. 39 years of looking for something that really would heal me and give me the tools for self-healing. Now, I've had other things that I've healed. I've healed migraines. I've healed acid reflux. I've lost about I think maybe 30 pounds over the process of the last 10 years, or maybe a little bit more. And I'm trying to think of, high blood pressure, emotional despair, and anger. Learning how to handle anger. No one knows how to handle anger. And we talk about anger management. Wait a minute. I don't think you want to manage. And I think you want to learn how to get rid of anger or use it appropriately and cleanly when it comes up.
Right.
So, that would be like, hi, there's a fire in my bedroom. How can I manage that fire? No, you don't want to do that. So I teach people how to really feel the depths of their emotions and to communicate and express. And so the story for me was the relationship healed at the time beautifully. I used to kid and just say, where's my husband and what did you do with him? Because he did the program too and became even like a different person. So much happened out of that. And then just one more little piece, I started doing and applying what I was learning. It was a 3-part teleseminar. Because I was already a, certified hypnotherapist, a journey practitioner,
Right.
I just started implementing and applying these principles with my clients. And I saw things happen so rapidly, so fast. I was blown away. I was blown away. And then that's when I said I signed up, worked with Ty, and then I said to him, he goes, so what about your career? Okay, I'm a little afraid to tell you this. He goes, oh, why? I said, because this is what I want to do. And he went, oh, I was expecting that. Oh my God. Oh my God. So, and that's how it started. And I have never been the same since then in a really positive, wonderful way. I see a bright future. I live that. Just got off the phone with a coach, a health coach, who was saying to me, "My, you're optimistic."
Yes.
Said,
Yeah. I was actually going to share, so for me, from my perspective, you were a bright light when we first met you, and we met
Mhm.
you somewhere around 2012, maybe it was 2012
13, something like that, yeah.
or
yeah, something
13.
like
Yeah.
that. Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
And but I have to say, like, when we reconnected again, right, when the expo came up and we just connected, it was like there was
wow.
like this, Valerie, like, what are you doing? You look fabulous.
I eat light. I eat light for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No. I'm teasing, but I think what I really want everyone to know is how powerful they are. We are so, Karen and Matt, we are so powerful. We create our reality 100% by causing and allowing everything. Now, that can be very horrifying or terrifying or frightening, or it can also be liberating, because I'll tell you why. And people go, well, wait a minute. Corona, I created that. Well, you didn't cause it. I don't think. And if I find the person who did, that might be dangerous for them because I will have a lot to say to you. But we allow in this world, we allow bacteria, we allow viruses, we allow this, and now here it is. So if it's someone else who's doing it to you, you have to go find them and tell them you have to change and you've got to stop this in order for me to be happy. If it's you who's creating your reality, then you have to change, and you know how to do that. There's tools for self-awareness. We have a 4-step process for change of any limited or negative reality creation, which is called recognize, acknowledge, forgive, and change. It's a deep process. It sometimes takes 2.5 hours to really go into that. And of course, the forgiveness part is so important, but so is the acknowledgement. And so is recognizing who you do blame before you take responsibility.
Yeah, right. I was just going to say, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Or who do you want to blame? Because that's powerful. Like, God, why are you doing this to us? No.
Yeah, it's like it's bridging that gap, between having your moment of blame, right? Whether it starts from outside of you to know, oh wow, this is mine, to all of a sudden recognizing there is no blame. There is no blame, right?
Absolutely. There is no blame. And also, not just that there is no blame, but what happens a lot when I talk to people about you create your reality. Oh, then it's my fault. Oh, so now you're not going to blame out there. Now you're going to blame yourself. So why don't we get out of blame, which actually is an imprisoning state? Why not taking responsibility? How does that feel different? It feels very, very different, you know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, so you know,
100%.
oh, that's so cool. It's so nice talking to someone who just goes, yeah, I get that. That's
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yeah,
It's truly looking inwardly, like you said. It's really, and it's not blaming. It's taking responsibility for whatever happens, and then how do you, of course, correct it, and really just be aware.
right. So recently I heard this really cool little tidbit again from Lazarus about and on his audio Discovering the Adult. And he was saying that if you take responsibility, there is a aliveness and joy and spontaneity that starts to happen. And you have to be willing to go into the beliefs that create reality
Mm-hmm.
instead of the other. So most people think, oh, I have that belief because I had a punishing father, or I had a mom who was emotionally distant. So that's why I'm the way I am now. And that's true from the human point of view. But here in Future Visioning, we look at that first, and then we get to, well, when did you become a powerful spiritual being? Oh, when I left home. I don't think so. We come into this world, and the other night Ty was talking about this on the call because he just met his granddaughters because of, COVID-19 and everything. He had to wait, and he met his granddaughters, twins that just were born 8 weeks ago. Oh,
Wow.
cool, right? And he said they're so helpless because they can't even hold up their head. We were all there once. So the feeling of being powerless is built into the system in a way. So you have to be a powerful spiritual being that goes, yep, I'm going to come down here and pretend for a while that I can't do a thing and have these gods and goddesses take care of it.
Yeah, right.
And then reclaim your power at the end. And it's like, oh my God. So we forget who we are. And it's about remembering who we are again.
Right. And that's Lazarus in a nutshell, which I just absolutely love. But I did want to mention, you keep mentioning Ty Kane. I would love for you to just share with our viewers who Ty is.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Right. It's become just like
yeah, it's really you. It's really
me,
you.
like, just every day, Ty. Ty is the founder and creator of Future Visioning. Not only did he do his own healing journey and extrapolate it out of all the different processes that he did, through the years, and, becoming a trainer in different modalities, but then also a hypnotherapist like I was, and then studying with Lazarus for 40 years and taking the parts.
Wow.
Yes, 40 years. So he was there the first time that Lazarus said, the future creates the present.
Wow.
And his story is that his head spinned, the room spinned, he got dizzy, and it was like, what? And I remember the first time I heard Ty, the founder and, creator of Future Visioning, talk about the future creates the present against the backdrop of the past. And that week I had been walking my dog and thinking about, because this is what I do when I walk my dog as a metaphysician or a, spiritual person, I was thinking about, what does Einstein mean when he says time folds back on itself? I'm sorry, I can't help my brain. It's just, this is how it works. So then when I heard Ty say the future creates the present, oh my God, that's what Einstein was talking about. And when you realize, because a lot of us think, oh, we've got to go to the past to heal. You really don't, actually. The only time you have to go to the past to heal is when you're projecting it into your future.
Oh, I love that, Valerie.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Yeah. So instead of mucking around in the past to try to like get a momentum, you go to the future, you see your future, and then what is that expression? Love brings up everything that's not like it.
Mm.
And when you go to your bright future, of course your blocks are going to come up because your higher self, your future self, your soul are saying, you got to deal with this. So the thing I was wanting to say is beliefs create reality, not the other way around. So like Matt was talking about, going inside and seeing what's the root cause. That is Matt going, I know that I'm sure you do it too, but he was the one who said it here. My beliefs, there's something about me and the way that I'm thinking, feeling, that's creating this out here, which is the reflection. You go there, you change it. And cool thing about it is once you do that, you'll notice sometimes, yeah, there's an ugliness to it. You know, like I want to control other people. Oh, good for you. See how's that going for you? You know? And we all know it doesn't work, and yet nobody stops. It's like, why don't we stop? Because I can't help it. But when you get down to the luminous intention, why do you want to control other people? Because I want to make sure I get love. Oh my God, it's a pure intention. Well, that flips the whole thing. But the ugliness is well, I want to love, but I'm also terrified that I'm not going to get the love, or I'm not going to be able to handle the responsibility of the love coming toward me, or I'm not going to be honest enough. So all these things. So it's really working and being friendly with all your emotions, all your beliefs, because they're yours. You created that way. Yeah.
I love that. So, babe, did you want to say something, love? No? So, it's funny. One of the things that we actually wanted to ask you was like, what really differentiates future visioning from other programs? But I feel like you just illustrated that so beautifully. It's very clear to us, but if there's anything that you want to just add on to that, please feel free.
Yes, absolutely. So just as the future creates the present, all time exists simultaneous.
Right.
That's why the past is just as flexible as the future. And people go, what? No, yeah. Oh, yes, yes. You can go and change your past if you want.
Yeah.
Do it well, because you got to be, you got to be aware of what you're doing. But it happens simultaneously. So there is an inner child, a young adolescent, and a young adult, except if you are that young adult, inside of all of us, who has a timeline in front of them and a future. So it's being responsible for healing them so that you can move forward. Because a lot of times when you want a bright future and you're the adult, you go, I want a bright future. Well, your child is still in complete fear of authority or fear of not the powerlessness. And you have to go back and heal. Well, I don't feel that way anymore. Yes, but your child is real. It's not just a piece of paper inside of you. It's a real living, breathing child who has shut down because of trauma or disappointment, whatever. So there's that. Then your future self is real. It's not a projection. It's an actual, real, living, breathing phenomenon. Then there's the anger at God, which most of us don't go there. We're not supposed to say that I always expressed my anger toward God even before I knew about future visioning. And I was just like, I'm so I'm so you. Maybe you could bleep that out. I didn't say the whole thing, but anyway, yes, you can be angry at God, and you've got to heal the anger at God. So here's the other part of that's part of future visioning. The other part of future visioning is that there is a goddess. She is real. We have X'd her out.
Yeah.
In our chauvinism, we have created a scenario where men are just as stymied as women in the system. It's hard on all of us as human beings. So there's a goddess who is unconditional love, and we have separated and we have raged toward her or it, whatever you want to say, the beingness
Yes.
of the goddess as well. And that needs to be addressed for you to really be able to move forward, because the ultimate beginning, because there are no ends. I just heard this and it just shook my world. There are no ends. There's only means, forever and ever and ever.
Mm-hmm.
Dance with the divine again is to go home to the goddess. And that's our purpose. That's what future visioning does. And also the other part of future visioning, which is profoundly the only system that I found that did this well. It looks at self-pity, martyr, victim, self-sabotage in a way that can actually be transformed, forgiven, transformed, so that you can be your empowered, powerful spiritual adult in partnership with the universe. So those are the 5, and there's actually 55 that Ty has really compiled that's different about future visioning than any other system. But those are the really basic 5 that we deal with on a continuing basis, and that your emotions need to be expressed and released. And there are no negative emotions.
I love that too. Wow.
How come? What does that say to you, Karen?
Oh, wow. Geez.
Am I not supposed to do that?
Yeah, no, you flipped the script on me.
I'm sorry.
So it's so funny because when I listen to you speak about this, I go into that quantum realm. So it's almost like I can hear the words, but I get like all these visions. And the moment you said the word timeline, it's just like something happens inside of me. So I can already feel the power of like future visioning. And Matt, we were having a conversation in the car yesterday, obviously in preparation for today and everything. And like there is just such a resonant pull to the program. And Matt, you'll, back me, validate me on that. But it's just very palpable and it's very quantum.
Absolutely.
So when I go into that quantum space, sometimes I literally, and you'll forgive me, but it's almost like I bypass the language that you're saying because I immediately get pulled into the energy of it. So you totally caught me off guard because I'm just like, holy moly, I can feel things shifting just talking to you.
Wow.
So it's just so incredible.
Oh my God. No, thank you. Thank you. Yes. And I want to, oh my God, no, that's really beautiful.
So,
and
when you ask me what it means, it's just, it's so quantum in its power, in its relevance, and in everything, in its presence. It's incredible. And we haven't even done any work. Like we're just talking about it. It's powerful, Valerie.
This is what's happening. This is what's happening in the world now. And how do you change the world? We all want to change the world now because we don't like the world the way that it's going. Truly, if anybody was to say, yeah, this is really cool, you'd look at them like, are you from another planet or what's wrong with you? Yeah, okay. Well, what's going to happen out of it is cool. But right now, it's so many things. I watched a show the other night where they showed a New York hospital in the middle of the COVID when it was the epicenter, and the hospital, and with the morgue trucks and the tents. And I was weeping when you think about people who died with their loved ones on video. They finally figured out how to do that. At first, no, alone, completely alone. And that whole thing. But God, I really have to remember my train of thought when you were talking about, the quantum. And yes, future visioning is metaphysical and quantum physics tools put together. It's when you're happy, when you have that moment of peace, when you walk out on a beautiful sunny day and the sun hits your face and you go, oh, that feels so good. You just put that out into the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we need to know that that adds to what I call the oh God, great. Now it just like went away. It's Rupert Sheldrake's the morphogenic field. The morphogenic field that is the sum total of all of us being here.
Exactly.
So you want to change the world? Be happy in the moment. How do you be happy in the moment? Because try that. That's really hard to do when you think that there's a terrible future coming.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know that there's a wonderful future that's coming toward you, and instantly you're in the now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So that's another thing that we offer to people. And when you do that, when anyone who's listening to this, or myself, you, or Matt, I'm going today to meet a dear, dear friend. We're just doing things that we're going to enjoy. I have a house that is being renovated, and it's like the timeline is coming down the pikes. And yet, why am I taking the day off to do that? Well, I have fun when I'm there, but because having fun is the purpose of life. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
And you're not supposed to grow through struggle or suffering or hard work at all. It's supposed to be receiving. The new paradigm is going to be very magical.
Yes.
Because you're supposed to receive, it plunks down right in front of you.
Yep.
That's how life is supposed to work.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it does with my clients. My clients have created miracles and magic beyond healings that, like part of the issue here is that I've had so many clients who have healed, I forget about it. And I start to think, oh yeah, sure. That just is what happens, right? And I forget what it used to be like to not have that. So.
But it's like the norm for you now. That's the norm. It's ultimately you get every day expecting to be happy and joyous, and it just happens. So it's a thought process that, every day is going to be beautiful. It's going to be sunny out, and that's what you see.
Well, and you do have bad days. I mean, let's just be honest. There sometimes, but even in the bad days, there's something that you can find, a glimmer of hope or something, or how do you adjust to it? My God, I think that's the biggest part for me, is when something looks like, oh my God, this might be really a big problem. I look at how I feel. So the day before, someone had come in and said, oh my God, why don't you do this? And, oh, it's not your plan, but you'd have a, bird in the hand instead of one in the bush. And I instantly got sad, confused about the future, like, oh man, what am I going to do? Am I not listening? Am I not noticing? And so even though it seemed like, wouldn't that be the great thing to do? It's right here. It's a good opportunity. It was like, no, it doesn't make me happy at all. So I said no to the unknown, which, by the way, is what we really have to start embracing in our lives. And that's why working with the future is so incredible, because the unknown can be scary because it's unknown. Yep. So if you have this assurance and reassurance that you have your future self who's already there, successful, you're more open to facing the unknown.
100%. 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
It makes things, you even when you're going through those times, you can start to step back and say, yes, I know it's going to be okay, or I know this is going to happen. And but you were aware. You got sad, but you caught yourself and you were aware. You weren't unconscious. You were very conscious about your feelings, and you were able to take the steps necessary to move through it.
and then make a choice.
Yeah.
And then be responsible about that choice and not blame anybody. So just go, this is my choice. Okay. And then all of a sudden, weirdly, or not so weirdly, the enthusiasm comes back. And you're like, oh, okay, I think I'm going in the right direction. So
And
yeah.
I absolutely love that, because for me, again, right, I'm in the energy of it, and I almost kind of feel, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of feel like you're illustrating what it's like to really navigate in and out of timelines, right? Just based on our thoughts and our feelings and our perceptions of what's going on, and how, like what Matt said, we course correct. Would you say that that's like navigating the dimensions, if you will, and timelines, you
Oh
know?
my
And
God, you asked such great questions. Thank
I
you.
know.
I mean, do I have some time to answer that with a
Yeah,
little illustration? So
absolutely.
at one point, we were doing I'm talking a lot about renovation, and I think that's amazing because I think the world is being renovated right now. So, but when we had our house up in North Jersey, now I'm down in South Jersey, we were doing a renovation of the living room and dining room, and everything was in boxes and chaotic. And I walked into the room and I felt this anxiety that just took over my whole body. It was just like, like terror almost. And I just went, it's not me. I'm happy. I've been wanting this. Whose is it? And I felt my 7-year-old, who was watching my parents separate in a divorce and the whole house be broken down and not knowing what was going to happen, and the anger and the upset. And then my brother was kidnapped. It was like a whole big thing. It was a horrific, and my child was flipping out. So listen to this part, because this blew my mind. So I'm about to go, oh, baby, no, 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 this is a good thing. I was just about to go back to her to reassure her when my future self whipped by me. I wasn't expecting that. Went back to my, I'm getting chills as I talk about
So am I, yeah, totally.
Went back to my little girl and hugged her and just went, it's going to be okay. And then I went back and went, yeah, it's different this time. And there was such a feeling of love and an integration of all the different, not all the different parts of me, because we're complex. Life is complex. And if you look for simple solutions, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's really about complexity. That was one of those moments that for my whole life, I will never, never forget. So the multi-dimensional aspect of time can be conceptual, but that wasn't conceptual. That was a real event.
Right. Exactly. And that to me is like, lack of better words, but the magic of it all. And which kind of leads me into, I love that you often share with others that they'll love future visioning because it takes the mystery out of success.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the key things that, Matt and I really wanted to drive home today, because I feel it's a really important element too, to kind of get into a little bit. If you still have a couple minutes for us, we would love for you
tell
to
me when to stop. I can go on and on. I was born with the gift of gab. That was one thing I have. So, and it runs in my family, by the way, because I saw my great niece do the same thing. And I was like, oh my God, it's genetic, But anyway, yeah, there's actually techniques to success is not this elusive thing that we're supposed to be trying to get and only a couple of people have it. First of all successful people begin with the future. Every single person who's successful over and over again has a vision. Like Bill Gates, I want a computer in every home. Well, he said that when the only computer in the world was as big as this whole room plus, or a whole floor of a building. And he wanted to put a computer in every person's, and then Steve Jobs, right?
Right.
wanted every single person to have a computer in their hand.
Hmm.
This is the vision of someone who saw something that didn't exist. So all great people, the Wright brothers, Richard Branson, Oprah started when she was a young child, being abused, poor, not appreciated for who she was. And she would say this every night: "Oh, glorious future, come into my heart."
Wow.
That was all she said. And she created an empire.
Yeah.
So when you start with the future, that's number one. Number two is there are 7 steps. There's seven processes, and there's a state of being. And it's sort of what I was saying before. It's not to work hard. It's not to work smart. It's to receive. The universe has total love. Total love for you. Right now, your future self and your higher self, and God, Goddess, all that is, have a plan for you, Matt and Karen, and me. And if I can go, all right, let me start working with you. That's when it begins. So there are actually steps, and there's a state of being to be open, to receive, et cetera, et cetera. But there's actual 7 steps, and there are techniques. And so it's a skill. It's a skill that anyone, like typing. How does someone learn to type? Do you have to be a, violinist or something like that? No, this is a skill that, except for me, I was the only person, like Lazarus used that as, and I said, it didn't work with me. I couldn't type. I don't know why. Okay, there's something wrong with my brain in that way. But for most people, it's just practice, practice, practice. So you can actually practice prosperity and abundance. And we have the tools. We know about it. How's that sound, by the way?
That sounds so exciting. It really, I love the thought of that. Probably the last year and a half, most of my life I was focused on the past, and that would really dictate my day.
Wow.
And probably about 2 years ago, I got sick, and a couple things happened, and it just sort of shifted everything. So now really, I don't think about the past at all that much. I really look at today, but I'm always looking at the future. I meditate most mornings. The last couple mornings I've slept in, but an hour a morning, and it's really about looking at my future. What is my future vision? So I get up in the morning, I come downstairs, I have a tape that I listen to, I plug in my headphones, I sit downstairs quiet, and I basically just go through the process, and I think about what my future is going to look like. And, we all have moments, like you said, everything's not perfect, but it's being conscious of, like, I used to get in funks, and K&A would tell you, I'd be in funks for weeks. And now it happens, a couple hours. So I've gotten to the point where I'm more aware of what's going on. And the more aware I get, the more aware I can sort of right side it and say, okay, this isn't reality. What am my reality to be?
And so I have a question for you. And I want to just acknowledge, I'm sorry, I've been calling you Karen and K&A. I will start to do that. That's
No. Don't, please.
Okay, so Matt, what do you want to feel in your awesome future? And let me ask you this. When you're 100 or plus, because now we see that this is possible. When you're 100, what state of being do you imagine that you're going to be in?
I think, like, right now, to be honest, I'm 55 years old. I feel like 25. I feel better now at 55 than I did at 40. Physically, mentally, I feel like I'm getting younger by the day. I really do. It's the most beautiful thing in the world, because every day I feel like I'm reversing the aging process. And Karen will tell you,
you look great, by the way. You look awesome.
Yeah, I've lost weight, but for me, it's a state of being. It's a mindset that, I see people my age and stuff, and everybody has their own journey. I respect everybody's journey. My journey is to continue on my mission and being very heart-centered. We have the Expo, things like that, just being of service to people, because I truly love people. I love seeing them flourish. And for me, it's about bringing a mission to say, you know what, you can do it. When we meet people like yourself, I have a story that, probably similar to other people that I've had my path to get here. So it's possible to get here. And I think the important thing is for people like yourself and other people we speak to is you're at this point in your life, but you've had to work through it. So you have the tools to help them, that they don't have to wait until their 50s. They can do
Oh,
they can
yes,
do it younger if they're willing
right.
to just open up. And the fact is, you said the key things. It's not hard work. It's
Right,
not.
exactly. No, no, it's not. I mean, there has to be a commitment there, but you still didn't
Mhm.
answer my question. So I'm
But I'm
gonna,
at
I think I noticed that.
so,
Okay,
it's
so what is your 100-year-old you? Because you see,
mhm,
you're telling me how
mhm,
you are now, because you're the future self of your
mhm,
younger self.
yes.
So
Mhm,
just for a minute. So if you even want, close your eyes for a minute. Close your eyes.
mhm,
And both of you go to your 100-year-old selves and notice that you're still with each other, shoulder to shoulder. Isn't that incredible? And what are the two of you feeling? Because it might be different then. You have accomplished everything that you want to in this world, but now you're ready to move to the next level. You're ready to graduate with honors from this lifetime. What is your 100-year-old future self, Matt and Kane, wanting to give back to you? What do they want you to know? Like, the water's warm. Come on in. What do they want you to know that it feels like to be them?
To me, it's pure love. I mean, that's
Yes.
ultimately what I feel. To me, my life is about pure love. And the closer I get to it, the more I'm getting emotional now just thinking about it.
I
It's
know.
just about pure love. So the more my heart opens up wide every day, the better I feel.
And what if the whole world,
Hmm.
imagine that. Imagine being 100 years old. And because right now in the country, before the pandemic, 96% of Americans thought the world was going to stay the same or get worse before the pandemic. So we don't even know what it is now. What if that flips? What if 96% of America or the world believes that it's going to get better all the time? What kind of world would we live in? That's the mission of Future Visioning. That's my mission, starting with me, for
Hmm.
my life to just get better, better, better.
And that's our mission too. That's both of our missions. That's really, we do everything out of pure love. We truly do. We truly enjoy speaking to people, whether it's Expo, it doesn't matter, because it's done out of love and it's done out of unity. And that's ultimately what we want to bring to everybody, to show that, you know what, you can live from your heart and be happy and successful and fulfilled.
Absolutely. I'm right there, and I'm going to be there at the expo, and I can't
Yes.
wait to be. I believe I have a speaker spot.
Yes, you
And
do.
I will. So please, if you hear this video, I promise I'll even go into a little bit more depth, and we'll talk about how to stop stress in 3 seconds or less, which sounds like a little thing, but it's not,
Yeah.
because not only does stress kill, but also stress management techniques that don't work kill too. Like, I was talking to my friend of mine and I said, okay, so your son right now won't talk to you because they were caught in that whole, the restaurant. He's a restaurant owner. He hates the fact that there was a shutdown. And,
Right.
my friend was more like pro the shutdown, and they were like, ugh. And I said to her, well, right now, in order to resolve this issue with your son, what if you just sniffed a little lavender oil? How would that help with resolving the issue with your son? And she started laughing. She said, it wouldn't do a thing. I go, exactly, exactly. And you can go meditate. I don't, meditation school, but if you have an issue, if you go meditate and then you open your eyes, is the problem still there? So what happened is, I said to her in that moment, I said, okay, so see yourself having that beautiful relationship with your son again. Amazingly, and she doesn't even do future visioning, but amazingly, he got her a phone because her phone was so funky and hard to stay in touch with. And then, he said, I'm giving this. And then their whole family came over, because whatever, it was safe now. And his whole family came over to have dinner with her within a week of us having that conversation.
Wow.
That's the power of the future. That's the power of the truth, by the way, and not saying things like, oh, it's so stressful, that's a lie. Stress is actually a lie. So my lecture, you'll find out more about that. And what does that
Absolutely.
mean, right?
Absolutely love that. Love
Cool.
that. Love that. So, Valerie, we would love to close with you here today, just in for you sharing with our viewers how they can connect with you,
Thank you.
you
Yeah.
know, how they can get in touch with you if they're interested. I'm sure many will be.
Oh, thank you. Well, you see, there's my website
Mhm.
right down there, and there is a way to contact me through the website. I offer 45-minute, that's what it says, consultation for free, complimentary, for me to get to know you better and you to get to know
Oh,
me
wow.
better. And I offer free gifts, by the way, when you come to that consultation, whether you work for me or not. I do send out free gifts to you. So there's really nothing to lose. And
Wow.
it usually lasts about an hour, but I like, saying 45 minutes. And if they want to keep it to 45 minutes, that's fine. It just seems to just go on longer.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I offer a free 45-minute consultation, and then I do give free gifts that are appropriate to the person where they are at.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. That's incredible. So, everyone watching, if you are resonating with this content here today with Valerie, please don't hesitate. Don't miss your opportunity to connect with her. And, Valerie, we can't thank you enough for
Thank
joining
you
us
so
today.
much.
Thank you so much. I know I'll be hearing from you, and I know I'm seeing you in August. So yay, that's a long time coming,
Absolutely.
right?
A long, long, long time
A lot of
coming.
excitement has built, so that's good.
Yes, it has.
Thank
So,
you so much for inviting me.
Thank you,
yes.
Valerie.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. And to everyone watching, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Heart of Oneness Network. We thank you. We appreciate your views and your support. Valerie, once again, thank you.
You're
Save the
welcome.
date for our next upcoming Expo on August 13th through the 15th at the New Jersey Convention and Exposition Center in Edison, New Jersey. You do not want to miss the opportunity to connect with all of these incredible souls. So, from our hearts to yours, much love, be of peace and be of joy. And Valerie, we love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, guys, see you soon.